Salam alaikum alaikum salam. This is Tata Matamba. Today we're doing a video on spiritual staffs and palo mayombe or in kisi malungu, like a walking stick. It's not going to be a long video. This is a video that was requested. So I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of information about spiritual staff. So we're going to go ahead and start with the names. So here's a dictionary basically. What spiritual staff or walking stick, different types of words that you can hear in palo mayombe or even the Bantu language, the Kikongo language. Kibango, which means, spiritual staff, and Goya, Siling Goya, are all different walking sticks or sticks that have different purposes within Malongo. Longoya, which is a garabato. You can look up what a garabato is. They have other names for them, like a buddy of mine calls it Mbiala or something like that. Mbiala, Bakulu Bome, the Kisenge, the Kisengere, the Nfumbengoya. There's Kisenge, Kisengere, and then Kisengwele and Kisengwere. There's all that. There's different languages to it, but Kisenge and Kisengere are different types of. Also different like sticks or walking sticks, like umbaton. But most of the time I know it by Ngoya, Silingoya, and Longoya. And so I heard also Kisenge, Ikisengere, and the Kibango. The Kibango is more Bakongo or it has stronger roots to the Bakongo. So those are the names. Each tribe, each house, each Munanso has their own dialect and ways that they call things. But at the end of the day, we're speaking about the spiritual staff, the walking stick. Some people might know it also as the Bakulu Nkunya, or here's Bakulu Boeme. It all depends. Each house has their own names too. El Batun del Muerto, which is a walking stick or the spirit staff or any of that sense. So the Kibango, right? The chiefs, the spiritual healers, diviners, all used carved staffs. The king's staff had a woman figure carving. These carvings represented woman's power to connect the world of the living and the world of the dead. During pregnancy, women are capable of holding two spirits in one body. Making this observation, the Bakongo considered women spiritually stronger than men. And even in Palo or in Kisimalung, right, in Palo Mayombe, the Yaya is seen as they have more power than the actual Tada or the men. This is a very controversial topic. I'm not going to go in depth with it, but it's perfectly fine. But everybody knows behind every great man, there's a woman, backing him up. And the Kibango, right, this walking stick or staff, or spiritual staff. There's many kinds of it in Cuba, but in the Congo, it was looked at as a place of authority who had that. Kings, chiefs, diviner, not just anybody had a staff. Within other traditions, like within the ATRs, the Pagugu, that's more for the Nigeria and the Bawalaos and all of this other stuff. But I'm not going to get into that either. When in Cuba, all of that then got in there. All these other ATRs from Nigeria and the slave trade transatlantic went to Cuba. So they also had an effect within Palo. All of this stuff had affected Palo Mayombe. But the Kimbango is used for many things. It was used as a sign of authority. Here, let me look up at a picture for it real quick. You see the king or the chief, and that's his wife. He had a Kimbango, his spiritual staff. Oh yeah, and also the Kimbango, the spiritual staff, was sometimes used to record history, because it would be passed down from chief to chief, and they would carve history onto the actual kimbangu, right, or the ngoya, which is the stick. Here's another picture. You know, they'll always have, most of the time it was a female, um, and they'll have her breast, or those beads represent things. It's just not by to make it look nice. Everything in it has a meaning to it, even from the height to the actual patterns or carvings that the kimbangu had. They all mean things. All of these things have meaning behind it. You see these patterns that look like they're weaved, and the actual woman that's up there, um, all have meaning. The coil, the copper coil that's wrapped around it, that's a meaning. All of this had meaning. And I think we're gonna go ahead and take a left turn, or we're gonna diverge from this video, about staff. And if I can find the actual picture, we're gonna speak a little bit about an nganga, or a priest or profession that had to do with these carvings. If I can find the actual picture of something called, let me see if you guys know. This is for the people who say that books and information was never passed down within Bakongo and all of this stuff. Give me a few seconds. Let me find it. Now look here. This is what I'm talking about. This is a Lukasa. This is basically a memory board. You see that it has somewhat the same patterns, and that they look like they're weave. All of that means something. This is a memory board, right? Um, the Lukasa, or the memory board, it was able to recall information concerning to genealogy, court ceremonies, cultural heroes, even the clans or the tribes migration, the Kanda migrations, and the location of things within the royal compound, or the tribe's territory. Um, a Lukasa might also map out the spirit's capital, or the palace of a descended ruler. Where was he buried? And who obtained the knowledge of how to read and make this Lukasa, or this memory board? There was an Nganga, right? A profession, a priest, or a master. And it was an Nganga Mbudye. He was a councilman, or a woman who was a master or professional in charge of sustaining and interpreting the political and historical principles of the kingdom, right, or of the Kanda, that is inscribed within the Lukasa, right, the memory board. So, the Bakongo people actually had their own way of writing or documenting things like we do in books, or like the Egyptians had within their temples, in their scrolls, and all of these things. They had a book. This is basically a book to pass down information from generation to generation, and from chief to chief. There was many different types of lukasas. It can be political. It could have been for hunting and gather, give advice. It could have been for medicine. This is I think one for the medicine, for different types of medicine, where the plants, what plants to grab, what you should do. All of this stuff was carved or put into place inside of the lukasa. So people who say that palo mayombe or these traditions should never be read in books, that's a lie. I say you should always read to expand your knowledge and understanding. The practice is not going to be in books. Obviously, you have to have a household and live inside a household. Have a great godfather who can teach you, but you also have to read. You have to read and get orientated. And this is a lukasa. The Bakongo had this, specifically the Luba tribe. And you guys can look this up and understand, and do your studies and understand more in depth of that culture, and the things that happen. Very artistic. The Bakongo, very artistic. Now, and in Kisimalongo, right, or Palo Mayombe, Palo in Cuba, we're gonna go ahead and get back into the Kisenge or the Ngoya. the actual spiritual staff. We took a little left turn. Now we're back on track. The functions of the spiritual staff in Cuba or in Palo Mayombe. It is used to call the spirits and the force of nature. How they do this, by imbundando or by saying certain prayers, and they'll hit it in the ground. Boom, boom, they'll hit it. They'll hit the ground with it. Also, if there's any during spirit possession, the Mfumba can use it. If the Mfumba or the spirit gets possessed and he needs his designated Ngoya or Mfumbe, Ngoya or Kisenge, whatever the Mfumba has. And there's different types and different belongings that you can put into them. The spiritual staff are also used when two priests or spirits work together, and that is very true. You'll cross the Kisenges or the Ngoyas, like make a cross on them, and that's how you knew that things were coming together and in the agreement of el juego or whatever aspect. And is also used in many different occasions and rituals. Yeah. Many houses make a hole and they put bilongo in there. And there's certain bilongos that can actually, that mean things. That have to do with lightning or fire or water or air, whatever. And when they do the batibembas down on the ground, those spiritual sigils that represent the world and certain things, they'll use the kisenge and they'll hit in certain aspects on top of that sigil to, tell the spirit that you want that person to receive that lightning strikes in that aspect of the world or that wind or the fire, whatever power that kisenge or that ngoya or kimbango has. So, this is very deep. This is just one spiritual tool that Nganga Nkisi Malungo, right? A master of the medicine of nature, a specialist of the medicine of nature. In other words, a traditional healer, a priest, an Ngangulero uses, right? All of these words mean the same thing, uses. There's many ways of using them, of using an Ngoya. When should you get one? Some houses give them before you receive your Nkisis, others give them after. That's all up to your Nsinga Dikanda, your actual lineage, right, where you come from. There's no right or wrong way, but always remember, take these things serious. These things are real. That's all I can give. I actually have a buddy. His name is Tata Yosnel. If you guys, he carves Nkisis and he carves in Goyas, he carves wooden staffs. He carves any type of carving, like within Nkisis, coastals, all this stuff. If you guys are interested in obtaining any of these things or receiving his phone information, his contact information, let me know in the comments below. I'll give you his contact information. He actually hand carves all the stuff. Es un tallador el talla, so he does that. So you can leave it in the comments, and I'll go ahead and give you guys his phone number. But always remember, take these things serious. Everything means something. There's a lot of knowledge within Palo, a lot of mystery, and always study and do things according to your lineage. Take these things serious. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your time. Salam alaikum, malaikum salam.